You are listening to an update from Washington with the Congressman from Alabama's 1st Congressional District, Bradley Byrne. Now from our nation's capital, Congressman Byrne.
Welcome into the latest edition of an update from Washington. I'm Seth Marr, and we're joined now by Congressman Bradley Byrne, who is currently traveling in Israel. Congressman, what are you doing in Israel?
Well, Seth, this has been a great 3 or 4 days. We have another couple of days here in Israel. This is a critical time for this country, with this new deal that the president has proposed with Iran. Israel is right in the crosshairs there. So we've met with the Prime Minister, the President, the leader of their opposition, and with the Prime Minister for the Palestinian Authority to talk about how this deal affects them, what we can do to foster security in the Middle East, and what we could do to make sure we take care of our most important ally in the Middle East, and that is Israel.
So what are some of the top concerns you're hearing from both the people in Israel and government officials as well as just ordinary people?
Well, what they're really concerned that what's going to happen is that this deal will allow the Iranians to put their hands on $150 billion that's been frozen up in their bank accounts that they will use to pay for the terrorist activities of groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. They're worried about Iran getting a nuclear weapon that will be used against them. The real danger is now to us because what Iran's trying to do is to get the ability to deliver a long-range nuclear missile, one that would go beyond Israel, beyond Europe to us. They're trying to get intercontinental ballistic missiles. So this is a direct threat to America, and they're worried about that because we're their biggest supporter in the region.
And so what is your opinion, and how are you planning to vote on the Iran nuclear agreement?
Well, I thought before even coming over here to Israel it was a bad deal, but after you've been over here for a while and talked to people, you realize just how bad a deal it is, so I intend to vote against it, and I think you're going to see a majority of people in the House and the Senate vote against it. The President's going to veto it, we know that. So the real question is, are we going to have enough votes, which means we're going to have enough Democrats to vote with those Republicans, to get to a two-thirds vote in both houses we can override that veto.
Switching topics a little bit, I know that while you were over there, you also had an opportunity to check out Israel's Iron Dome technology. Can you kind of explain what that is and why that's so important for them?
Yeah, and if you come on over here and get to see it myself, really has helped me understand it. Iron Dome is a missile protection system. It's composed of a battery that has the radar and everything in it to detect the missiles being fired into country. Then it has a separate battery that fires the missiles that go after those missiles, and they explode next to them and explode the incoming missiles so that they don't hurt the civilian population. This was tested last summer, unfortunately, with almost 3,000 missiles coming into Israel from the Hamas terrorist group in the Gaza Strip, and was very successful. So they wanted to show it off to us because we helped them get it. It's part of our aid to them militarily, and it's been a remarkably successful system to help them be able to avoid any sort of missile attack on them. Tomorrow we'll actually be going up to the northern part of the country near the Syrian border where all these bad things are happening now, and we're going to see how the Iron Dome system works up there as well.
And I know there's a significant number of holy sites there in Israel. Have you had an opportunity to check any of those sites out?
We have. Yesterday we were able to go to the Western Wall, which is the western wall of the Temple Mount for the Old Temple, and I was able to pray there. Rebecca was with me, and she was able to pray in the women's area there because the men and women pray separately. And we were able to go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is the place that tradition holds that Jesus was crucified and was buried and, of course, rose again from the dead.
And in closing, Congressman, what is the opinion of the people in Israel of the United States at this time?
Well, Israel loves the United States. I mean, our connection to them is a central issue for them. They're very worried about the relationship with President Obama. They feel like President Obama is anti-Israel, and he has done some things and said some things that would indicate that's true. But we've come over here as members of Congress to make sure that they hear that the Congress is with them. And they really do strongly appreciate hearing that. That gives them the confidence that we're going to be there for them in the years to come.
Well, thank you so much, Congressman, and it was good talking with you.
Let us hear from you. We love hearing from our constituents. Knowing what you think about these issues is the most important thing we can hear.
You have been listening to an update from Washington with Congressman Bradley Byrne. Congressman Byrne encourages you to contact him with any comments or questions. You can email him online at byrne.house.gov or find him on Facebook under U.S. Representative Bradley Byrne. Stay tuned to this station next week for another timely report from our nation's capital. This broadcast has been pre-recorded.